Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Ilika CEO Graham Purdy. Graham, Happy New Year. And you've started 2025 with yet another milestone. That's the successful commissioning of manufacturing equipment for your Stereax batteries.
Hi, Stephen. Yeah, great to be back. Great to see you again, and all the best for 2025. Yeah, we've started with a bang, eh? So great to have finished commissioning the Stereax equipment at Cirtec Medical's site in Lowell in the US. And this is a really fantastic milestone. The teams have been working hard across the festive period, and now we're ready to start that process qualification step.
Graham, take us through the process for this and how you'd work up to full production of the Stereax batteries.
Yeah, well, of course, what we've done is we've installed all of the equipment. We did that last year, and we've been commissioning it in Q4. That's now complete. So commissioning really means, making sure the equipment is doing what it's supposed to do. And now what we've got to do is start running batches of product, and we're starting to do that right now. The first product that comes off, of course, we're going to test and make sure that it meets specification before we put it in customer hands. And that's what we'll be doing over the next 3 or 4 months. And then later in 2025, we expect commercial sales to start.
And just remind us, this is in partnership with Cirtec Medical. Tell us about the arrangement here.
Well, they're a big tier one manufacturing company. They sell to all of the major medical OEMs, particularly in the US. And they are past masters at making sure that product meets medical standards and conforms to the expectations, very high, expectations, high levels of quality control that are set by their customers. So they're a great partner. They've already got a large thin film facility, which is capable of making the types of products that Stereax would be bracketed into. They're used to the types of processes that we've used in order to make the Stereax product. So it's a great relationship. We entered into a licensing agreement with them in 2023. And it's a 10-year licensing agreement. Actually, we do some of the manufacturing of the product here in the UK. So we make the cathode, which is the positive electrode in the battery, which is perhaps the most proprietary of the manufacturing steps. So we're still doing that in the UK, supplying that part of the product, that component, through to Cirtec, and they then complete the product together with some outsourcing partners. And then finally, we at Ilika form the batteries, and they're distributed to customers for their use. As part of the licensing deal, of course, there is a royalty agreement in place so that Ilika shares the commercial upside associated with this product.
Graham, tell us what's unique about the Stereax battery.
Yeah, the reason that our customers get excited about Stereax is really a combination of the miniaturization of the products and the high energy and power densities. So, of course, the Stereax product has been designed for active implantable medical devices. So, in a lot of cases, the battery is combined with a device which is then surgically implanted into patients for things like, pain relief and for data collection and monitoring of a patient's condition. It's key that, when you have, excuse me, when you have an implant like that, that you minimize the surgical intervention. That reduces costs, and it also enhances the recovery of the patient. So the fact that we have a miniature device, which is actually in exactly the right place at the right time, because the whole medical device industry is going through a bit of a revolution at the minute, where you get this nexus of miniaturization and smart connectivity, which is enabling a huge number of new devices for different applications in orthodontics, ophthalmics, in orthopedics, all sorts of things. And it's a really great time to be able to offer a product to the market that enables some of these great ideas that are being developed by our customers.
Graham, so that's your Stereax batteries. How about your Goliath batteries? You reached that D6 milestone back in November. What's next for Goliath?
Well, of course, as you rightly pointed out, Stephen, we've got two product lines. On the one hand, we've got this Stereax miniature battery, solid state, of course, and on the other hand, we've got these large format Goliath batteries for EVs and cordless appliances. And the large format Goliath batteries have been surging through that technical roadmap that we've laid out for people to follow the progress of that particular product development. We've got the D7 development point, which is actually a design freeze for our 10 amp hour prototypes. So 10 amp hours is already a pretty chunky battery. It's about 5 times the size of an iPhone battery, and can be used actually as the building block to make modules and packs for EVs. So we'll be sending out those prototypes that we call our P1.5 10 amp hour prototypes on the back of that design freeze mid-year. And then we've also, in this first quarter of this year, got our first D8 samples, and that's another design point. That'll be a 50 amp hour large format battery, which is pretty much a state-of-the-art pouch cell for EVs, much larger actually than you would use in cordless appliances. And that will be later in the year, towards the end of the year, after a comprehensive test program, of course, put in the hands of our customers for evaluation, leading through to commercial license opportunities. That's why we're in business, right?
Well, Graham, it sounds like another exciting year ahead for the company. I hope you'll keep us posted on any progress.
Yeah, I look forward to speaking soon, Stephen.
Thanks for your time today. That's Ilika CEO Graham Purdy.